Hi Steve, great session on the week and great to spend some time on some short game work. Obviously we worked a little bit on this over at the range and at the studio, but it's difficult to obviously work in detail in the bunkers with you over there. So I just thought I'd do a little bit of a recap on the bunker session that we did. Main issue when we're in a bunker is controlling where the club enters the sand. So a bunker shot, as with every other golf shot, it's about controlling low point, and we want the low point to be a ball's width, 1.5 inches if you will, 2 inches behind the ball that we're hitting. If we can do that consistently, we're going to get ourselves out of the bunker each time, provided we've got sufficient loft in our hand by the means discussed during your visit. Then the ball's going to come out more often than not. Your pattern was very much as we see here, club entering the sand a couple of inches too far back. One of the main reasons we had that occurring was because the head would drop back, the knees would sag a little bit too much, and the rate at which the club passed the hands was a little bit excessive. The first thing we did was we put a line in the sand, spent some time hitting balls, being aware of where the club was entering and aware on the consequent effects of that. We then hit some shots where we kept the right leg straight. This started to calm down the driving of the legs, started to calm down the rate at which the right shoulder dropped, stabilised the head position through the hit. But as we started to do that, and you can see there the contrast between top left and top right, the stance started to get a little bit too wide. When the stance is wide, the low point's going to move back. And we can see that as we enter the club, or we enter the sand with the club too far back, we start to try and lift the ball out of the bunker, and we can see the arms dividing and the butt of the club raising very quickly, left arm bending, etc. So in this footage towards the end, we've spent some more time hitting the line, and we've not got a line in place on this shot. We've started to go back to a more normal stance, the right leg's not excessively straight at setup. We've narrowed the stance a little bit. We're now controlling where the club enters the sand. The overtaking rate is reduced from what we see on the top left footage. You see that the left wrist is not as flexed. The body has continued to turn. One of the problems we talked about with yourself in both bunkers and chipping was when the turning of the body stopped and the radius of the swing started to expand. We've got a more lofty club in our hand, so we don't need to help this ball out quite as much. That was a beautifully demonstrated bunker shot. Hit the line, or hit the imaginary line exactly where we wanted to. Ball gets carried out on a cushion of sand. Great shot. Forwarded some keynotes to you and look forward to working with you again in the coming weeks. Well done.